Okay, so I totally just tried to record this and made a very dyslexic mistake. So I'll try not to do that this time. I figured I can just restart it. So FIFO is first thing in, first thing out. I buy in January, I buy in February, I'm going to sell January's first. LIFO is last in, first out. So if I buy in January and buy in February, I'm going to sell what I bought in February first. So the physical units don't have to follow the cost. So like you could buy something in January and then do the LIFO and sell what you got in February, March, April, May, all the way down. Even if it's food, it's not going to rot because you're going to sell the oldest stuff first, but you're going to consider it the cost of what was purchased last. So if that was confusing, don't worry. Just know that the physical unit flow doesn't have to match the accounting flow. And FIFO is first in, first out. LIFO is last in, first out. So FIFO is easy. You really don't have to break it up. I could have broken it up and said $225 at $5 was the first thing I bought, plus I'm only supposed to do $570, so whatever $570 is minus the $225, those would be at the $6. And then when I sell my $600, I'm going to use the rest of this shipment that I purchased on, I think, June 12th or something like that. Moral of the story is you can just kind of go in order. If it's FIFO, you go in order because it's when you bought it and then it's when you sold it. You kind of buy and sell at the same order. You're recording what you bought first, then second, then third. You're going to sell it first, then second, then third. So you can kind of just fill it out. The first $225 are at $5, then $525 at $6, and then we only sell 420 of these next ones at $7 because that gives us our $11.70 that we've sold total. And then these are the costs of each batch that we're selling. Total cost of goods sold would be this, and then the ending inventory, all 330 of those came from that shipment that we got of $750 that cost $7 each. So the 330 left are the at $7 each would give us this amount in the ending. So 330 left in our inventory came from that $7 each shipment. So we multiply them by 7 to see how much is left in ending inventory. LIFO is a little bit more confusing. You would say, and this one I'm guessing, this is the most logical thing. If your teacher doesn't do it this way, then they're dumb. But you think about it most logically. The first shipment that I'm going to sell, I bought, I think it's $525 that you got in the June 12th or something like that shipment, and those were $6 each. So you're going to sell all of those because those were the most recent things that you'd purchased. You don't do the $7 ones because if you look at when you sold them and then when you bought the $7 ones, you bought the $7 ones after you sold the first 570. So you can't really sell something you don't have. And that's what I'm saying. If your teacher doesn't do it that way, if they just say do it the most recent thing, you can say, well, we didn't even have those in the store at that point. So it would have to be this way. If she does it a different way, then she's just dumb. But does that make sense? Like if you have these, but you haven't bought these yet, you can't sell these because you don't have them yet. And so the timing issue would be the problem there. So the most recent thing that you purchased, the last in, is the first out. So at this point when you make that first sale of $570, the most recent thing you purchased was the $525 at $6 each. Well, in order to get the $570, you need to eat into the previous sale as well, because you only bought $525 at $6, so you get that. And then the remaining $45 would have to come from the beginning inventory, which was $5 each. You only need 45 of them. Well, now fast forward a little bit. When you sell the $600, you have now purchased that $7 each order. And so because you have that, that's the last in, so it's going to be the first out, so you sell all 600 from that batch. And so you multiply all these out and get the cost of goods sold the same way we did over here. Now this part is a little bit more confusing than this one because you have two different batches. You have 180 left of the $5 each beginning inventory, and then you have 150 left of the $7 each that you bought. So you multiply those out to figure out the 330 units. Part of them are $5 units and part of them are $7 units. You multiply it out and get this amount for your ending inventory. Then this one, I have never heard of this before. We've done like weighted average, and I think that's kind of what they were trying to get at, but I don't know why they worded it as moving average. It was really weird. I had to Google what that meant. And from what I understood from Google, I think this is the way you would do it. You basically say, okay, every time I make a purchase, I'm going to revalue what it is, the cost per unit, what the cost of unit is. So initially we have 225 at $5 each, but then when we buy 525 at $6, we need to say, okay, now I have a total of 750, and this is the cost when I multiply out the $5 ones and the $6 ones. This is my total cost, $42.75, and from there I'm going to divide that by the 750 to see what is my new cost per unit if I take all of the cost and all of the units. So I'm finding a new average, and that average is going to be 5.7. And intuitively that should make sense. It should be a little bit closer to 6 than 5 because there's more of these $6 units. So 5.7 is our new average. And that's the price that we're going to do for our first sale of 570. You sell them for 5.7 each, and you get this amount. Then you say the remaining units, well, I had 750, and I'm going to sell 570, so I have 180 left at $5.7 each. And then I purchase 750 at $7 each. And so now I kind of do that same little thing down here. I do the 180 that I had left times 5.7, because that was how much I was valuing these way up here. And then I do the 750 times 7. I figure out the new total cost, and the total units is 930. So I divide that out to then get my new average cost. And again, you only have 180 at 5.7 and 750 at 7, so it should be closer to 7 than 5.7, and it is. 6.748 is, that's a rounded number. It said in the thing to round to 3 decimal points for the average cost. So I get this amount, and now I'm going to do my second sale. So I sell 600 at that new average, and I get this amount for my cost of goods sold for that sale. So the total cost of goods sold is going to be my first sale plus my second sale. So first sale plus second sale equals my total cost of goods sold. And then my ending inventory, you can do it 2 ways. I did it one way of 330 left, and this is how much we averaged all of the cost to be. So 330 at this new average equals 2227. Now what you could have done is you could have said, okay, this is my total cost left over, and I sold this much of it in this most recent sale. And if you subtract those, you'll also get 2227. So hopefully that makes sense. Sorry that was like a 7.5 minute video. But if you ever get confused about Lifo, Fifo, whatever thing, you can watch this video, see if it helps. If it doesn't, just ignore it. But good luck.